Thank you, Commissioner Teague and the rest of the commission. I appreciate the opportunity to come talk about the Golden Eagle Project again. I was here, I guess, in June last year and kind of gave you a little idea what we're working on. We've done a lot since. We've got some really cool stuff to present. Shifting gears from hogs a little bit to charismatic megafauna. So the project that we're working on is part of the Eastern Golden Eagle Working Group. So this is all the states and provinces in the eastern United States and Canada working on golden eagles, trying to figure out where they are, how many we've got, through bait sites, which were roadkill deer and trail cameras. But we're also tracking some birds to look at habitat use, life history, where these birds are going, how big their winter ranges are, summer ranges, what they're doing, where they're spending their time, and also migratory pathways, what ridges they're taking, where birds are migrating, particularly with development of potential wind development. And it's a species we know very little about, and we're getting quite a lot of information out of this project. So this map, it's a little messy, but this is sort of the information that how we're using information that we're gathering in Tennessee and the other states. These green blobs are basically bait sites for golden eagles, and this is just occurrence of individuals on any given day. So this is allowing us to take a look at distribution of the birds, abundance of the birds, and occurrence of these species. So West Virginia is actually a real core wintering area, but you can see we have lots of birds further south. These blue dots are where we didn't have any goldens. So in addition to golden eagles, we're sending all the image that we get of all animals that show up on the trail cams to West Virginia University, where this is centered, and they're looking at occurrence of all the critters. One of the neatest ones is spotted skunk, which I don't know much about spotted skunks. I'm pretty much birds, but they're mostly gone, and they're finding spotted skunks all over the place. Now, there was a biologist in West Virginia who has a bait site in northeast West Virginia on his farm, and he hasn't seen one in 30 years. By the pattern, he's seen at least 6 different individuals on his farm. So there's lots of really good information we're learning about, lots of scavengers out there. So to step back to what we've done over the last couple winters, we had bait sites in Region 2, down in Franklin County, Regions 3 and Regions 4. We had 21 different bait sites. So this is the trail cam, roadkill deer, seeing if golden eagles come in. And we had goldens at 11 of those sites, so about 50% success rate, which when we started this, I didn't think we had very many goldens, so that was pretty exciting. And then last year, we trapped a couple birds, put some transmitters on them to see where these birds are going and what they're doing. And so when I was here, I was ahead of myself there. So with the trapping, so it's a small net gun. It's a 20 foot by 20 foot net. It's very small. It shoots right over the deer carcass, and the golden's got to be standing on there, head down, eating, to make sure you get a successful capture. And so when they catch the birds, they put these cellular transmitters. So it's not a satellite transmitter, which records 3 or 4 points a day, and you can get that data from anywhere. But these record a GPS point accurate to a meter, elevation, speed, or something else that they record every 15 minutes. And so these birds can be out of cell range for a long time, but it stores all that information. We get it all at once. So the advantages of these types of transmitters is we get very detailed information where we can see the tree that bird roosted in at night, see exactly where these birds are spending their time, how quickly they're crossing different parts of the landscape. So this map is of the track of a golden eagle that we caught on North Cumberland WMA last year. So this was a 3-year-old bird. This is an immature bird. It wasn't going to be breeding. They don't breed till they're 5, 6, maybe 7 years old. So we caught him down here. I had to step this back so you get a real idea of where the bird spends its time. After we caught him right about down here, he spent a significant amount of time in Claiborne County, around the Big South Fork, southern Kentucky. But his northbound migration took him through western Pennsylvania. And I guess when I was here in June, we only had information through April when he went off the grid. But he wandered all the way to northwest Quebec in the Ungava Peninsula, which I'd never heard of until November when I checked the website and one of the birds checked in. I was like, where in the world did this bird go? And he didn't have a home range for the summer. He basically wandered around. He spent about a month over here near the Hudson Bay, but wandered around. And this is his southbound migration route. This ridge here through Pennsylvania that he took is the Kittatinny Ridge. And there's 5 hawk watch sites along there, including Hawk Mountain, which is one of the most famous hawk watches in the world. And he flew right over Hawk Mountain the day after Thanksgiving on his way back south. And about 10 days ago, he was within about a mile of where we caught him on Hatfield Knob on North Cumberland, but he spent most of his time on the Daniel Boone National Forest, Big South Fork area. He kind of keeps going back and forth. He doesn't stay in one spot for more than a couple days. And that's sort of what you expect with an immature bird. They sort of wander around a lot. Now, this pink track is a bird we got down near Bear Hollow Mountain in Franklin County. I guess when the map that you had seen before, we had come up through Indiana here, followed a forested corridor through this ag desert of Indiana, and crossed at the Mackinac Bridge. We have a GPS point on either side of the bridge right up there into the UP. And he'd done this loop through Ontario and Quebec. But he basically spent 4 months in a very small area up here in northwest Quebec, and it was about a 5-mile radius circle. He never left for 4 months. And if you notice, we don't have much data for him coming back south here. This bird spent so much time, so late into the fall in the Arctic that there wasn't enough sunlight to charge the transmitter. These are solar powered. So we didn't get data from late August through late October or so. But when he did come back down, it started charging. He dumped 4 months of data in 1 minute, which is incredibly exciting when you've got nothing for 6 months. There was yelps through the wildlife division. That was pretty awesome. But you can see individual points here. So the issue with the transmitter was it got down so low, it was only recording 1 point per day. It was actually recording every 15 minutes, but it only saved 1 per day, which was sort of a problem. But the benefit of these transmitters is it's talking to a cell tower almost every morning. And they can reprogram it on the computer. They wiped the transmitter clean, reprogrammed it, and now we're getting 40 points a day. This is a Google Earth printout, or basically a screenshot. The Google Earth track for this bird isn't working. It's totally on cellular tracking technology side to fix. But he came right down just west of Fall Creek Falls, Savage Gulf, Bridgestone, Firestone, and he's actually back down on Bear Hollow Mountain WMA down in Franklin County, going back and forth. He actually had him on our bait site on Bear Hollow Mountain a couple weeks ago. Flipping through images, there's a bird with a transmitter on its back. So he went about 2,000 miles north and came back to the same little patch of woods. That's pretty cool. So what we're doing this year, we expanded all the way over into Region 1. We started in Regions 3 and 4 in 2012, added Region 2 last year, and now we're in West Tennessee. Lots of Goldens get reported in West Tennessee. And we actually had a couple of sites at the Hatchie National Wildlife Refuge. We went out there with our biologists to try to pick a site. We saw 3 golden eagles at the exact same moment. I thought, we're going to get a golden eagle over here on bait. Yeah, well, we didn't. Our success rate was about 50% a year. For about 50% of the sites got birds. We had 17 sites, and we only had 4 sites get birds. But each of these sites had 2 to 4 to 6 individuals coming in over time. We can look through all those images and compare plumages and all that stuff. But we got some really cool shots. These shots are all up from Unaka Mountain up in Unicoi County. The bird on the left is fairly small. It's probably a male. And the bird on the right's basically right next to it. That's probably a pretty big female. They're noticeably larger. Oh yeah, I want to point that out. So if you notice, one of the ways we compare images, this bird, there's no white under the wing. It's just all brown. So that's probably an adult. Or here's a different bird, same bait site. There's little white fingers under the wings. So that's a younger bird, probably first or second year bird.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
How long do they live? What is their age
They
compared
can
to
live
a
20
bald
plus
eagle?
years.
How much?
20 plus years.
Compared to a bald eagle?
They're probably about the same.
Same?
Yeah, they're probably about the same. You may not be able to see it real well, but this bird showed up late January. It has a transmitter on its back. And this is one of the transmitters that we're putting on birds, except none of the birds that are being tracked are anywhere in the mountains down here. And actually, we caught a bird on a nearby site last year up here that we never got data on, and we just assumed it died. And they're starting to think this is an adult that was banded as an adult, that maybe they've never had a transmitter fail, but there could have been the SIM card issue. Something might have gone wrong with it. So they're going to try over the next couple weeks that bird's sort of coming in regularly to one of our sites. I might have to spend a week sitting in a blind all day to try to catch that bird, and that transmitter might have collected data for a year, and we just didn't dump the data. So there might be might be a lot of information on that transmitter. Of course, there might be nothing, but if we can get a good transmitter on it, find out what went wrong, we can learn from that. So with trapping golden eagles this year, on January 29th, we caught a bird down near Bear Hollow Mountain in Franklin County. This is the 4th year bird. This is Josh Campbell from Region 2. Happy as can be, holding the golden. It was pretty awesome. And this is Mike and Trish. These are the folks that are permitted to use the nets, actually handle the goldens, put the transmitters on. Mike is the guy that designed the transmitters from scratch, the technology, and he's the best at it, best that there is at doing this. So to give you an idea of the size of these birds, and remember, these birds are spending most of their time in the woods. Don't really know what they're doing, but they're spending their time in the woods. And just for reference, this was an 8.5-pound male. A week later, we caught an adult female that was over 12 pounds. Much, much larger bird. And this was an adult bird. This is caught actually the same site. So we're just starting to get information on these birds. That is an intimidating sight. These guys have not actually been footed before, which is a good thing, because that hallux, you can see that's the size of his thumb. That would cause some serious damage. And then just yesterday, I got a text message. I guess somebody came down the mountain enough that they caught us our 3rd golden eagle. I had 3 transmitters to deploy, and we got 3 birds. How happy I am about that. I think everybody is very happy. Up on Unaka Mountain, and that bird's out flying with the transmitter now. We just haven't gotten any information on it quite yet. So before I wrap, I have to give a lot of credit to the folks that are doing all this work. All those guys up there are the ones that are picking up the deer carcasses, running these trail cams, checking them every couple days, coordinating with these guys to find out if they've got birds coming to bait when we're trying to trap. And while the WMA managers and officers have helped pick up deer carcasses and let them know where there's deer. And as always, I've got a page dedicated to the Golden Eagle Project on the Watchable Wildlife website. I haven't updated it in about a month. I'm a little behind. It's been a little busy with trying to catch birds. But I've got information on each bird, where we caught it, what it's been doing. I've got some maps and all that kind of stuff. So I'm happy to take any questions you may have. Thank you for your time.
I live over in West Tennessee, and there's probably 3 or 4 balls stay on our lake, and this is the first year we've ever had a golden. What's the odds of him coming back next year?
Probably pretty good if it's an adult. Adults tend to be much more site faithful than young birds, which appear to just wander around.
It's a beautiful bird.
Yeah.
Are they about the same size as the ball
It's basically the same size. Yeah, the issue with the birds out in West Tennessee at Hetchy is they're chasing the ducks around. The refuge folks, they're basically following, there were 60,000 ducks on Hetchy a couple weeks ago, and they're just following them around. You can put out a free meal for them. It doesn't move, yet they're going after the ducks.
When I'm duck hunting, I'm glad the eagles are there because it gets the ducks moving.
It gets
again.
them up and
Sometimes
moving
they're
them
just
around. There you go. Excellent, excellent. So,
Yeah, I was going to let Chairman T dismiss you.
Is there any more discussion about eagles? Thanks for that presentation. It's
thank you very much. Appreciate
a
it.
magnificent creature. I guess that's it for wildlife.
Okay, at this time, let's take about a 15-minute break before we start with fisheries.
Is it legal